episode of the No Needed Approval. I believe we are on episode 11.
11.
See how I did that? Like,
yeah.
But episode 11. I'm your man, Pierre Evans, and I got my man, Philip Webb with us. What's going on, Phil? How you feeling this morning, man?
I'm doing amazing, my friend. I'm amazing. You know, we're getting out of that Chicago winter, and it's going to be 60 today. So I'm excited about it. Sunny. It's going to be amazing. So I'm all good. Life is good, man.
You said it's 60. And
yeah, we're hoping it's going to be 60.
You're aiming for. Listen, man,
we're aiming. We're aiming.
It don't always end up the way you want it to. And I'm out here in Atlanta right now, and I tell you, man, when waking up and not seeing the sun, the sky be like real blue. Sometimes, man, the things we take for granted. You know what I'm saying? The things we take for granted. I haven't woke up too many times the whole 13 years I've been in Arizona. When you look at the sky, it's blue. You don't really get too many of the down days, and it shows because when you're out on a bike path or the walking trail and you're walking, like people, hi, how are you? Like the old chippery, yeah. You know what I mean? Like you just feel different, man, when the weather's different. So I hope you do get some good weather there, because y'all from Chicago be real mean, and I know why. You know what I mean? I know why y'all be so moody.
No, that's not true. That's not true. People are Midwest. That's everybody's friendly here in the Midwest. So, but I want to talk about today is, a friend of mine, they ended up getting a job. They took an opportunity. They wanted to better their family. They wanted to take an opportunity to be a professor at a college. It's about 2 hours away. So they went and they took that job, and, everything's going good. And he was going to decide, we're going to see how this goes. And then after that, we'll make a decision. Hey, are we going to move the family? Are we not going to move the family? Do I get to teach again? What's the story? So in fact, he does get to teach again. And I said, oh, you're moving a family. And now what I'm hearing is, they might end up getting a divorce. So I don't know, I don't know what happens behind closed doors. I'm not 100% sure, but it just reminded me is a lot of times in life, we're trying to build up with one hand and we tear down with the other. And so that's what I want to talk about today in a podcast is how do we go from building up with one hand without tearing down with the other?
Sometimes when we're looking to build, maybe what we're going to look to build in something new with what we had, we might not realize some things, but there was probably some signs of things already being broken. You know what I mean? Like sometimes we don't pay attention to everything, right? Everything that we should, and we don't really look at it. We become like I was talking to Eugene last week, and he was talking about being inside of the picture frame. And when you're inside of the picture frame, right, you can't see the picture. And when you said that, build something up and breaks and you're breaking something down at the same time, sometimes you got to look to make sure like what you have is solid before you begin to go build. But sometimes we get so excited and we stop building, and our building takes so much of our time, so much of our energy, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. And over here, this thing that we thought was okay, it seemed okay when we was looking at it being in the frame, but when we're out the frame, we start to see pieces that we probably should have seen a lot earlier. So I don't know, man. Can you really, if something is really solid, can you break it down? You know what I mean? Like, could you really destroy it that easily if it's really that solid?
Well, in this situation, I don't, again, I don't know what happens behind closed door, but I know like for us, the mindset, I remember what I was trying to do is I wanted to help people with our program. And so how do I do that? So we went on to social media, and I got a social media coach, and we started developing a YouTube channel, and I was starting to get in the process of everything. And then I'm starting to look at stats because I'm so involved in the channel. And I started looking at stats. It's like, well, I'm not getting the likes that I want. I'm not getting the shares that I want. I'm getting the comments that I wanted. And then, so I started, well, how do I do that? And then the next thing I was like, well, I could throw advertising dollars behind it. So then I talked to my coach. My coach said, whoa, Grasshopper, what are you doing? I thought the whole thing is we want to share with the community. We want to build a community. We want to take the information you got and share it out with the world. I thought that was the goal. And I said, well, yeah, but I said, what you're talking about is you want to get, you want to get a feel good, somebody rub your belly is what she was saying. And I said, well, I just wanted to help more people. And said, yeah, but what you're doing is you're going to push it out to people that maybe don't need the information. So I had to whistle back and say, you know what, you're right. I was trying to build up and then tear down. So I started staying away, and we just focused on the message. And the message was, I just want to help the community, build a community first, and then help that community, give them information. So that's where on this same kind of situation is, I was thinking I would be tearing down by throwing advertising dollars and getting more people in there that really didn't really need the message that I was trying to convey.
See, so, and so that brings me back right to what I was saying. When we're looking at something, when we want to try to go build something else without what we already, without making sure that what we have is sound, then now we're destroying it, because we're taking the energy that we could use to build that and we're putting it somewhere else. So let's bring it back to what you was just talking about when you're talking about as far as just, community. Once you get it and your community is running and it's up and it's on all autopilot, right? Now you can reach out and get more people. But before you start to, reach out and try to get more people, you got to make sure that what you have is already solid, right? What you have is already put together. And, there was a time, and this is just me, just, again, experience with it, right? Like I left and went from, Arizona, went out to Denver, and I was out there for 4 months. And in that 4 months, home was good. Like home was good because home was good before I left. You know what I mean? Like there was some things I made sure like everything was right. And then I was coming back, every so many times a month. So when I finally left for good, and came and went back to Arizona, like, yo, it was like I never left. Now there was some adjustments because my wife, my son, my daughter, they got used to being without me, right? My wife was dropping my daughter off at school, plus still going to work. The routine in the house was different because dad wasn't there. So my wife, my son, and my daughter, they learned how to live amongst them three without me being in the picture. So when I finally came back for good, right? Now, if I wasn't coming home, the times that I was during the month, oh my God, it would have been devastating. You know what I mean? Like much respect to the people in the military, right? That got to go off and be gone for 18 months at a time and come back and now fit into your own household. To a household you helped build, you got to fit back into it. And when I came back after the 4 months, that's what it was. It's like, yo, I had to find my place again. They had to open up to let me in. But if it wasn't strong when I left, if I wasn't coming back and continuing to build, it would have been harder for me to find my place back in that home and for them to open up and let me back in. And it was only 4 months, right? So again, for me, it was really paying attention to what I already had and make sure that was solid. And then there was some things I had to make sure that I continued to do to make sure that I keep it solid. So I wasn't building over here and destroying over here. I wanted to build at the same time, but it never did this. It would do this.
Yeah.
Right. So I had to figure out, how do I get it to when this side is going up and build this side to come up so that they're even. So now instead of waiting for this to get up here and then bring this up, I'm like, let me move this and let me shift over here to bring this up. And then let me, you know what I'm saying? So I had to keep playing yo-yo. And that's some other time, and that takes other energy. So before you're going to go do one thing, make sure what you have is solid.
Is solid in the other. And that brings up a great point, because sometimes, we're like trying to fix one thing and it's not solid yet. And you're just trying, if I make more money or I do this, but we're not solid in the family or whatever. What in this case, with this guy, what was the bigger picture? He wanted to elevate his family to the next level and bring everybody along for the ride. And he just ended up tearing down the family by getting the job. And so what you said, is so amazing, that you can't necessarily go hard in one area and let that other area fall to the wayside. You got to go just a little and then bring the other one up just a little and then bring the other one up. That way you're really achieving your goal, which in his case was, I want to raise the bar for the family. And so I think, that's a great approach. And a lot of times we don't do that. We forget that. And that's a tough thing to remember sometimes when you're in the moment or in the lane and you're going hard.
And sometimes, man, like you want to build, but it don't mean the people that are already on your team want to build.
That's right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like people got to pay attention to that. Listen, this is the crazy thing, man. Some people are okay making X amount a month, whatever your X is, right? If you're making $3,000, somebody is really 100% happy with making their $3,000. They built their whole life around that $3,000. Like, they learned how to live with it. They don't want the stress of going to make 10. 10 becomes stressful, right? And then if you're making 10, sometimes you become comfortable there. You don't want to go make 20. 20 becomes stressful. You're adding more things. Every time you're looking to add more income, you're adding more work. Now, down the line, it could be automated, but up front, it's work. And when you're putting work into something to excel, but the person or the people that are around you, if they're like, we don't want to be that big. We don't want that lifestyle. Like, you want that. You want to be able to go buy the toys. You want to be able to go do all these vacations. You want to be able to, relax or buy exotic. Like, listen, I could do fine with a $15,000 car. I don't need the $200,000 car. Like, it's going to get me from point A to point B. You see what I'm saying? Like, and people really be thinking like this. So if you got somebody that's in your circle and they're like, I'm cool with the little hoop, with the little whip I got. I'm cool with the 15,000. I get it. But for some reason, even if I don't drive a lot, when I'm working all day long, like I'm grinding, I'm going hard, I'm exhausted. If I got to go from my house 5 minutes down the street to the store, but I can take that ride on some real butter soft leather. Like, when you get in, it smell good, it look good, like it feel good.
Yeah.
Versus getting into something where every pothole you're like, boop. You know what I'm saying? Like, my back hurt. Like, this seat ain't comfortable. I don't like the way this drives. Like, I don't want to work hard and get in something and then complain about the way it operates. I want to be able to spoil my butt cheeks. You see what I'm saying? Like, I want my back to feel comfy.
Yeah.
I want the visual when I'm walking up to it and I push that button on the door and it's doot doot. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want that.
Yeah.
But
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with it.
That's
but when you have people in your space that their dreams are Smurfs, you know what I'm saying? Like, they got the little dream and your dream is huge. This person don't see value. They don't think they have a place in your big dream of a life. That's tension in itself. So now you're building something up because you want to live your vision, but you're breaking this person down because this person thinks they should be doing more in your life when you're like, I don't even really need you to do more. I just need you to be supportive. And I need you, I need to know what you want so I can still give you what I want and build a dream. And that's one thing E told me a long time ago. He said, you want this. Don't make your family suffer for what you want.
Right.
You take all the sacrifices and you let them just get all the pleasures.
And just what you said, I remember there was a guy that I knew, and he wanted to be a speaker and help people and go travel throughout the country. And he was starting to live his dream. He was starting to do it. And his better half said, you know what? Hold on, Grasshopper, because here's the story. If you want to continue this, I married you to stay with you, and you're on the road a lot. I don't want that. I don't want that lifestyle. You're gonna have to make a decision.
That sucks.
He backed off. He's like, okay, I gotta tend to business at home because that's the number one priority. And then he just changed his focus. So, but yeah, it could happen. And I know, like, we were looking at a lot of, doing something with in these groups about, betterment, doing something with real estate or something like that. And I see a lot of the guys, they're all about the hustle. They want to do this and change. And sometimes they're, the women, they're like, you know what? I don't want to take that risk. I kind of like what we got. You're talking about taking our 401k or taking our savings, putting it into something we've never done. I'm not ready to do that. And they have to back off a little and say, okay, well, let's figure a different way right now.
But do you really have to though? Like, I think we got to figure, like, if you want something, you figure out a way, right?
Right.
So if you say to me, well, I don't want you to, first thing I want to do is I want to identify, because when we're talking about women, right? Women just want to know they got that safety net. They want to know, like, we have security, like we have something here. You're not taking our all and risking it, and then we got to start over from scratch. So is it the fact you don't want to do it because you're scared that we can lose, or you don't want the benefits? And people, most people won't say, well, I don't want the benefit. They'll say, well, the benefit sounds nice, but what if we lose? What if it doesn't work? Right. And that's what they're playing on. So now it's like, listen, well, what can we do, right? What can we do as the person that wants this to sit there and really say, okay, we gotta keep what we have, and we gotta create a new piece of revenue. We got to create a new piece of revenue to go do this. Or we got to create it so we got our stuff where it's paid up for a year, right? There's so many ways. If you say, listen, if we pay all our bills for the year, like we don't have not one bill, would you be willing to do this? And if they say, I would be willing if we can do that, then go make that happen. You know what I'm saying? Like go make, if your bills is $5,000 a month, go put up the $5,000 for the 12 months and pay everything. So there's no mortgage, there's no nothing, and go make your move. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think we just got to find out, but I don't think giving up or letting your dream go, letting your vision go, I don't think that should be an option, man. Like, I'm out on that one. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm out. Tell me what you want. Let me figure out how to get what you want so that we can go and get this other piece. Because once we win, not if, but once we win,
yep,
you're gonna be looking at me like, I always knew you could do it, Daddy. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I always knew you had it in you.
Yeah.
Like,
everybody wants to celebrate the wins, but nobody wants to talk about the losses.
Like, yo, you can't ride with me if you're gonna only ride with me on the wins and beat me up on the downs, because I'm beating myself up. I don't want to be beat up on both sides, man. So I don't think nobody should get their dream away, man, woman, nothing, man. Like, yo, if you got a vision and you married, listen here, shorty, go do your thing. Listen here, bro, go do your thing. Like, nobody got to get their stuff up, man. We just got to learn that together we have a vision, and then individually we have a vision, and go get it. I don't care about nothing else, man.
And you just came up with the solution, because when I was talking to some of these people, they're like, oh, you're going to do this? I said, yeah, I'm all in. He said, well, how'd you convince your wife? I said, we had a talk, and she was all about, she wants to elevate her game up too. So she was all in about that. And it's like, well, I got my challenges with my wife, but what they weren't doing is what you said. It's like, okay, identifying what the challenges are, how to make her comfortable, so she's willing to get to the next level with you. Because if you do it by yourself, then I'm out on that. I don't want to be by myself. I want to be with her, but I wanted to get to the next level with her and walk, what do they say? Walk together in a journey. I don't want to walk ahead of her, and I don't want her to walk ahead of me. I want to walk together. So,
and that doesn't even mean like you got to be in the business with me. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm not talking that. I'm just talking having the same, right. I'm not asking her to come along and do the work. I didn't ask her to do that. Just have the same, be okay with me doing the work and spending some time away so we can better it as a family. That's what I was asking her to do. But she was fine with it. So I guess I was blessed by that matter. So, but I know, a lot of people, we talk about it. There's a lot of people like politicians, they get into the situation where, they want to help out the community, or they want to help something out, or they want to change something, make something better. And they get in there. And then what happens is they find out it's not the same thing that they thought it was, or maybe they have to make some compromises, and they go sideways a lot. And then they figure out, well, I got to get elected again to do more. I got to make these compromises. And so I see that a lot, even with, like, I don't know, we had a school board meeting, and I saw some of that going on here. Did you guys got some of that going? Do you ever see any of these guys do that? They have one idea, and then they change their focus when they get in there.
Yeah, because you don't really, until you could be doing the job, right? You can be in politics, but until you're in that seat, you really don't know what it consists of. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have an idea, like you can see the outside, the basic things, but there's stuff that's going on that you only see when you're actually in that seat, right? And even if you have a friend and you're like, yo, my friend's the governor and we hang out all the time. Listen, the governor's not sharing everything with you. He's your man, but he's not telling you everything, because he had to dance on the wrong side a couple times. You know what I'm saying? He had to play with the wrong people a couple times, and he might not be proud of it, but he had to push his agenda.
Yeah.
And he said, I'll worry about fixing it later. You know what I'm saying? I know I shouldn't be over here mingling with this group, but if I don't mingle with this group, I can't push my agenda. But if I can push my agenda now, I can worry about fixing what I did with them later. But sometimes when later comes, it's too late.
Too late.
And this is stuff that people don't see until they're in that seat. So when you sit in that seat and you're someone who got to make certain decisions, and this one decision affects 15, 20 different things, and you got to try to keep always fixing, and you robbing Peter to pay Paul, and you doing all this to do this, like, it's a different world. So I just think with some people, you get into different environments, different areas, and you don't really know what comes along with it, and you stop making decisions And before you know it, man, you just so deep in the game where, yeah, you said you was going to do this and you was going to be this type of person, but it don't work out. It's like being a cop, right? You come in with good intentions, but you go through so much mental abuse that before you know it, you're not as clean as, you're not as squeaky clean as you was when you first got in, 5 years down the line of all the abuse you took.
Right. No, I hear that. And, it's like here, this happened, I don't know, last week or the week before, depending on when I see the podcast, is like Major League Baseball. And I'm a big baseball guy. I love baseball. My family, we watch it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And Major League Baseball, they decided to move the All-Star game from Atlanta, which is where you're at right now, to Colorado. And, there was a bunch of political, hubbub about that. And so on one hand, I remember back, I don't know, I think it was like 94, 95, the players, they had the strike. And so baseball took a back seat, America's pastime, it was supposed to be this great sport. And they went away from the game. And now I would consider it's back to, a great sport. And now they take some political viewpoint. So with that being said, do you think there's a place for, should baseball or major league sports push political agendas, or should they just kind of, back away?
No, you gotta mind your business. They gotta mind their business. And this is the thing. And I know some people everybody in the military and the patriots of the world, they might get mad at me, right? But so what? No needed approval. I don't need you to agree with me or disagree with me. Really can care less, right? But it's like, even when we talk about, politics and sports, and we're talking about, the national anthem, right? And nobody really brings it up, but people talk about how like people was nailing during the national anthem, right? And it was a huge deal. Well, nobody talk about how the NFL only started doing the national anthem because the government gave them a check because they wanted to improve the recruitment rate. So they're like, everybody's watching the sport. We'll sit up there. We'll do the big thing, the national anthem. Let the planes fly by, the jets fly by in the big games, and we're doing all of this. But the NFL did it for a check. Mm. And now when people decide they don't want to stand or they want to nail for it, like, yo, get on the NFL on why they didn't promote it before the check, right? If they're like, I just think, man, people find a ways to put things in spaces when it's convenient for them. And find a way to be mad at things when it's inconvenient, right? Everything comes down to the convenience of the person. I just think, man, let things operate the way it is. Government, do what you do. Really, what do you have to do with sports? Nothing, man. It's entertainment.
Well, and that right there is the whole thing. I can see both hands, because sometimes people, look, for a while, I followed politics for a long time. And then I'm like, it's just too toxic. I couldn't take it anymore, to be honest with you. But so people watch sports to kind of forget about where they're at, maybe a little relief in their life, and maybe they like a team that makes them happy. And so they do that. And so there's that school of thought. And there's like, look, man, I don't want any politics in my game. This is my game. It's my time to digress, or not digress, but, get better with my head. And now here's what happens is I got politics. I'm trying to get away from it. Here it is. But then in the other school of thought, people are like, hey, we need to bring attention to this. And the best place to do it is in the sports arena, because so many people are watching sports. So you got both schools of thought, and which one is right? I don't know. But for me, I'd be honest, I don't want to see the politics in the sports, but I do admire them saying, hey, you know what, let's bring this agenda to the forefront. So I don't know. I'm out, but I see both ways. But you really got to ask yourself, are you built, then this comes back to our topic. Are you building up? You're building up the sport, and then you're tearing down by pushing the political agenda. And I think, and I don't know the ratings, I don't follow that, but I did hear some statistics that, hey, the sports people aren't watching. I don't know if that's COVID or political agendas. I don't know which one it is, but are we building up to tear down? That's really, are we doing that? I don't know.
People build up and build and destroy every day.
Yeah.
Right. It's just like in business. You know what I'm saying? Like when you think about it, you every day can get up. You can sit there. You can take all the notes. You can watch all the videos. You can talk with every coach that's out there. You can really study audio books. You can do all of this. But when you close it and you're done and you shut down for the day, instead of you going to get with other people where maybe you're not even talking about business. You're just with your spouse, with your kids, and you just talking family, general stuff, right? But you'll close all your study down and then go hang out at the club with somebody. Or you get on a call and you're talking to all your friends. So in one hand, on one side, you're building yourself up, and then you go and you get in all these ridiculous conversations that have nothing to do with what you just studied, that have absolutely zero to do, right? So I flew here yesterday. I got to Atlanta yesterday. I didn't book my car. I was waiting, because I looked. I'm like, yo, they wanted like $900 for 3 days. And I'm like, I'm not paying.
What are you renting? Corvette? What are you getting?
No. I just wanted a SUV or a full-size car. Like I wasn't looking to be exotic. I just wanted a car, right? Woo. But because they're so low with the inventory, the prices is through the roof. So I get here and then I'm like, yo, I'll just take an Uber to the room. I'm not worried about it. So I get on to get an Uber. The Uber was like $111 to go 20 minutes.
Oh, man.
I'm like, $111 to go 20 minutes. Like, you got to be kidding me. This is crazy. And I sit there and I'm like, okay, let me look. Let me go back to Uber. And I finally caught the Uber for like $88, right? And I'm like, 88 sound better than 111. But I'm like, yo, I'm not just going to sit here. But it blew my mind because I was so relaxed. Like before I'd have been pissed, like mad because I don't have no car, right? Then I finally look, I see a Camry for like $732. I'm like, $732 for a Camry? Like I can go buy 3 Camrys and my payment on them won't even be $740, $732. I'm like, yo, I can't justify that, right? In my mind, my mind can't wrap around paying $732 for 3 days, 4 days. So I'm like, yo, cool, no worries. Got the Uber for $88, came to the room, went downstairs, hit the restaurant, had something to eat, came up to the room, jumped into my notepad, started making notes, developing content, doing what I do, and I relaxed. I got up this morning, did some videos. You know, we had the call in the morning. We're doing this call now. I was on a webinar before this. Like, I don't care that I don't have a car because I got so much stuff to do. And if I need to go somewhere, I call Uber. But the thing was, before I came out here to go to a training tomorrow, right? But before I'd have been so worked up that I don't have a car. That it would have destroyed everything else. So yes, I came for the training, but on the other hand, I'd have been breaking myself down because I didn't have a car. So I'd have been like, man, I ain't got no car. This pissing me off. I'm pacing in the room like I need to go somewhere. Bro, I got nowhere to go but to create. You know what I mean? So I'm like, yo, I'm just going to use this time to create because there's no need to build myself up. That's why I'm here. And then to break myself down. So now my mind is in confusion. And when I'm sitting there tomorrow in a 12-hour session, I won't get what I need to get out of it. But when I'm mapping out right now, my life, what I want, and I'm putting my numbers down, when I get into training tomorrow, I'm taking the information that's going to give me the push that I need to push me towards the numbers that I want. So we can't break ourselves down in business and life with one hand. You know what I mean? We can't build ourselves up on one hand and then on the other hand, break ourselves down, man. That makes absolutely no sense.
No. What's that new T-shirt? You got a new T-shirt? Let me see. No.
This is the other one. Same one. After you've done all you can. You know what I mean?
I'm not used to the blue. Usually in black.
Yeah, I switched up. I got the blue. After you've done all you can. I ain't got no rent-a-car. I don't want to pay all that money. Cool. After you've done all you can, what do? Look at Lyft. I don't want to pay that. Look at Uber, right? I don't want to pay that. Wait a minute. Yeah. $88. We came down a little. It was like the stock market. Sell now. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, sell right now. Let's buy it.
Sell. When you get in Atlanta, you got to go through. And I like when you go in Atlanta, they tell you, you got to go over to Uber Lyft or the Lyft line. And it's way out there on, like, oh man. The one time I'm like, okay, I'm just going to program that joker because I don't want to wait 25 minutes. I'll just do it. And then the lady says, oh no, you got to go another. I'm like, oh, and then the guy's like, where are you at? I was trying to time it. Nope. Didn't work.
Listen, man, I sat on the bench. On the bench and I'm looking at people. But you know what? It took me back, man, because I haven't gotten off a plane in years to walk outside to go catch no cab, to go wait for a ride, to go get no Uber. Like I get off the plane. Like I got the little the little package with Hertz and I got it with budget, right? You get off the plane with Hertz. I got the nice one. I got the diamond. So I walk out and whatever's in that diamond lane, I get to just grab, right? Like I get to grab whatever's in that lane.
Yeah.
And then with budget, I just, I walk out and my car's just waiting. They got my little name on the thing. I grab my stuff and go. And I remember to yesterday when I got here, I laughed because it took me back to when I was younger and I would travel somewhere and I always had to wait for people to pick me up. I always had to take a cab from the airport. I always had to do that stuff, man. I didn't have no credit. I had cash. I had no credit card though. I had no debit card, right? So I couldn't get nothing. I had to wait for rides all the time. And when I'm sitting there yesterday, it was a great feeling to know that it was an option. You know what I'm saying? Like it was an option. I could have got the car for the $732. I could have did it, but I couldn't justify it. But I had the option to do it. If I didn't have the option and that car popped up at that number and I'm like, I can't get it, I'd have felt like crap. I'd have felt so bad. You know what I mean? And I'd have been pissed. But I'm like, I'm not doing that. That don't make sense. Like I probably drive the car 2 times, 3 times. I'm not going to do that. But just to have the option made me feel better. So that sold me on what I believe, that I do what I do, not for money, but for options.
Yeah.
Because I had the option to do it, right? And I think sometimes, man, you got to find out how you work. What makes you tick? And if you don't, you will continuously to build yourself up on one side and destroy yourself on the other side. You can't get away from that if you don't understand what's causing it.
Right. Well, what was it like that for me? I mean, even when we were building the ATM business, is a location thing. The location contract that was so big because when I started in the game, one of the things that I want to do is just go out, hustle hard, and get those locations and put all those ATMs in and make that money because that's what I was excited about doing. But then what I learned is that, if I didn't take my time, I didn't get them to sign the location agreement, then what happened is I took all the power away from myself. I gave it all to my customer, and then they could say, you know what, I got a better deal. They get that out of it. They can renegotiate the deal. And then sometimes what happened is if the business shut down or they went out of business, or even we experienced a fire, I had no agreement to say, okay, you know what, this is what it was, and hold their feet to the fire, whatever it was. Either it was, they want to change the commission split, or a couple times when these guys went out of business, I had to find the landlord. And I said, look, this is my ATM's in there. And I said, well, do you have a contract? And I said, nope. And I said, well, you know what? That's our ATM because the guy owed us money. So then it's like, it taught me, okay, slow down. Here's what I got to do. Let's get the paperwork in place so I can protect myself. So I don't, waste a lot of time. And then I don't have anything to show for it. And so we started doing the same thing. Is when I was getting on these calls with the students, we teach them all the time and say, look, here's the number one thing. It's the number one thing I learned in this business is let's get that location agreement set in stone. And then from there, you can do whatever you want to do. That way, if you want to keep building your business, no problem. You got something to build. If you want to get out of business, you got something to sell because now you have location agreements that solidify your business and add to your portfolio. So that's how it was like for me. What was it, kind of like, what's that like for you and your side, your business?
As far as just building in certain areas, my inconsistency at a point, I was building with the determination,
right?
The inconsistency was destroying.
There you go.
So starting things that I really wasn't ready to start because I was too committed over here, right? It's even like right now, like before I would have just been like, all right, cool. I'm not going to have a call on Saturday. I'd have been like, yep, we're not going to do the podcast today. We'll do it next week or we'll do it on another day. But it's like, yo, nah, I had to bring different luggage with me. I hate checking luggage in, right? Because I got to wait for it. I got to stand in line to give it to them. Then I got to wait for it when I get off the plane at the little daggone carousel thing, right? I don't like that. I hate it. But I'm sitting here with a big bag so that I can put all my camera stuff in it. So we're sitting here and we can still do the podcast. We can still have the calls this morning. I can still shoot videos, right? So because I want to make sure that I'm consistent because I got the big vision of everything that I want. Right. And I built that up over here. But if I'm not consistent, then I'm breaking it down. So I want to make sure, like, listen, I can do the videos just like this every day, no matter what. So that's why I bought the camera. So I bought the mic. So I got the computer, right? So I can travel. I got a traveling, audio kit, visual kit. Yeah. So it just makes it to where I can stay on course, because what happens is when you slip once, because you're slipping, you're finding a new distraction. That
Yeah.
new distraction might really be entertaining, where it becomes a distraction, not just today, but tomorrow. And then maybe not until a few days later, but then it comes back. I don't want no distractions. I want to stay just like this. I want to stay just in the camera, just like this all the time. I need to be doing videos, creating content. If I'm not doing anything to do with pushing me forward in business, then I'm doing things that are pushing me forward in life. Right? So everything I do got to be pushing me forward. So I can't do anything that's going to break me down, that's going to destroy what I'm working on. And this is the thing. No matter how hard you try not to ever destroy something that you're working on, you're going to do it. The thing is, do you catch yourself before you fully destroy it? You know what I'm saying? So that's what I look for now, man. I'm like, okay, I'm building over here, but I know if I'm putting all this energy and time into something and building, something has to be suffering. There's a sacrifice somewhere, somebody else, not just me. There's something else that's happening. So as I'm building, I'm always looking. Like when I was in the streets, I was always in my mirrors, make sure the wrong person ain't behind me. So now when I'm building, I'm doing the same thing, but I'm looking for other gaps now. I'm looking for gaps like, man, did I forget to tell my kids I love them today? You know what I'm saying? Did I forget to give my family hugs today? Did I forget to spend quality time with them today? Did I forget to see what their issues were, what their problems were, something they're working on, something that I can help them with, right? Because I'm so busy building, I could be neglecting over here,
right,
and not being there to help. So by it happening before, I now understand. So as I build, I check. I build, I check, right? And I'm going to continuously do that, man, because I want to make sure that I'm not building something to create a life, but at the same time, I'm doing something to destroy a life.
No, that's good. And you said that before. I mean, you got to keep checking. The best thing that we're learning here today is that we can't do it all. We can't go hard all at once. We got to do is go a little, then check, reevaluate. I mean, but that's, you always teach that is, to break it down to self-assess every day. It's like, okay, where do we win? Where do we lose? And I mean, what your program, Dominated by Design. I mean, you pretty much, it's almost revolutionary what you did there on that thing. And that kind of goes what we're talking about today.
Yeah. Listen, it's, I just had a call, right? This is like, man, sometimes we think that when we win, that's success. Like when you go out and you win, you're like, that's success. Nah, not for me. When I'm able to help somebody else win, that's the success, right? That's the real credibility. That's the real result that it works. So I'm on a call the other day, dude hit me up, scheduled it on my calendar. I love this automated calendar thing, right? Like, I'm like, oh, where them calls come from? I don't know, but I got to be there. Right. So that's why too, I'm traveling with all the equipment, because I want to make sure that I'm able to jump on every call possible. You know what I'm saying? Like every call that I should be on, I want to make sure that I'm on that call, and not only on the call, but I'm on that call with the right, with the right equipment. You know what I'm saying? I'm on that call with the right equipment, but I get on this call the other day. And when I get on this call, my man started telling me about all these issues that he has. And I'm like, all right, cool. We all got issues. Forget the issues. I'm really not concerned with the issues. And I really want you to jump off of the issues, because you're so consumed. You're so consumed with the issues. You repeated each one to me twice. He's like, oh, I didn't even realize it. I'm like, yeah, you did. And I can just imagine how many times you repeated it to other people. Like we're not here for the issues. We're here for the solutions to the problems. So we started to iron some stuff out. And that hour call, by the time we got done, my man was like, yo, I need to join right now. Like, wait, like how much, like how much? And I'm like, nah, like, listen, what I want you to do for the next 7 days is I want you to do boom, 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 right? And I laid it out. I was like, yo, after that, then we can talk. And I do this with everybody, because I want to make sure like we're a perfect match, because I don't want to build something by creating this hype with you, getting you excited, answering some questions, doing what's easy. I want to make sure that you're going to implement. So when I'm giving it to you and saying, hey, go do this at the end of the 7 days, then we're going to meet up and we're going to go over this. If you don't do that work over the next 7 days, you're not serious yet. I don't want to work with you. So I can be building something up, but destroying it. So if I'm building up the program by just taking everybody, I could be destroying the program because now they're not doing the work. So it looks like what I do don't work. So I'm looking at it like everything. And when you said that topic earlier, when you was like, yeah, you know, you build with one hand and you break with the other, you break it down with the other one. I'm like, yo, like that happens all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things I'm like, yo, I don't want to build my stuff up to let somebody else destroy it because I don't have control of their lack of work ethic. But if we say do this over the next 7 days or even 30 days, and then let's reevaluate if you do the work, now we can really do the work. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, no, I'm real big on, like, if I'm building, I don't want it to crumble. So I'm doing everything in my power, man. So what I build don't crumble.
No, that's good. And for me, one of the things, you know, we're doing, we got the YouTube channel, we got the Facebook community, everything's working good. People we're educating them, we're helping them out in their lane. And now they're hitting me on calls. And what happened is I'm not all that organized. I'm writing little Post-it notes all over the place. But we had the call, I help them in the journey, and they say, hey, call me back, but I don't put it anywhere. And now I'm like, what was that conversation about? It was 2 weeks ago. I can't even remember. And it was all over the board. And just what we're talking about today. So what I did is I went out, I got a CRM and implemented. Now I can put that in the notes. Now I can add value to those people. I can go say, hey, I remember 2 weeks ago, we talked about that. Yeah, thank God you called me. I need this area. Can you help me in this area? Yep. And now we can elevate their game, just like what you did with your students. And then I can help them. But because I wasn't organized, this little tool helped me get organized. And now I can continue building, but I had to step back because I wasn't doing it right. You know?
See, and I was looking at the CRM, man, but I use my notebook, and I need to put more of it in the CRM because more people will be able to see it, right? Like right now, my notebook is with me. Can't nobody go touch your note because it's with me. So I'm over here with my hands in the cookie jar 100% of the time, which is bad. But no, there's no but. It's bad, right? I do it because in my mind, I justified it.
Yeah.
I justified why I put it in my notebook versus in the CRM.
Right.
But the justification doesn't really work. Like, it's useless. Because at the end of the day, if you want to be more efficient, you have to do things that make you more efficient.
Yep.
And with it here, I only have that. Only I could look at this and really say, oh, that's what that is. That's what that means. Because I know. So even when I'm talking and I'm talking with a client, like, I put their name on the beginning of one of the dividers. This is your stuff in here. Like, this is what I'm gonna work with you. But if they ask me like, hey, can you send me the note on this? Can you send me that? I got to either take a picture of it instead of copying and pasting, like, yo, here, this is what I got for you. And that's what I got to get closer to, but my lack of knowing how to type. So the more I think about it, right? So I'm asking myself, like, how come you don't put this stuff in the CRM? Well, because I got to type it into the CRM. Okay, cool. Well, type it. Well, I don't want to be on a call and at the same time I'm trying to type. All right, cool. So you write it in your notebook, right? Like, yeah. So then take it from your notebook, transfer it over to your CRM. I'm like, man, that's a lot of notes, and I don't type fast like that. So I'm like, man, you come up for everything someone says, you come up with something to rebut it. You come up with you come up with another excuse. You say this, give me the excuse. You say that, give me the excuse. So I had to start to identify, like, yo, what about me is making me not want to enter it? My typing, cool, learn how to type. So I started typing some more. And the more I'm typing it, I'm like, man, my spelling's messed up. So now I got to look at it and I got to go like that. And I'm looking underneath my fingers to see what's what. So at the end of the day, if I learn how to type better, then I can transfer all my notes easier. So I started writing my notes differently, clearer, right? So now it's easier for me to transfer them over into the CRM. I'm saying that to say that your excuses, you know what you should be doing, but instead of doing it, you're making up more excuses on why you're not doing it. Forget the excuses, just do it.
Yep. And I agree. I mean, I did the same thing. So I'm gonna leave the guys with this is, in the situation where we're building up and we're tearing down with building up with one hand and we're tearing down with the other. One of the things that I think is the big challenge is, we lose sight of the big picture. And so We don't have to do the big race to get there as fast as we can. We just take it a little slow and steady. And then we continually build both sides of the coin, whatever it is. If it's, we got to sacrifice a little family to get to the next level, or we got to sacrifice our job to build family, whatever it is, we just do it slow and just little building blocks, not big steps, because every time I see big steps, you build up with one hand, and like you said, you tear down the other. Mr. Evans, what's the words of wisdom for the audience today?
The words of wisdom for the audience today. We don't have any. We don't have any. Just go. That's do it. Something.
Huh? Okay, we're out.
Just go do something.
Yeah.
No. The thing is, man, just listen. Just do this. Do more than what you're currently doing, so that you can get more than what you have. Right? It's not rocket science. Just get up. Get up. Go. Stop moving more. Stop moving. And then when you realize that you're not moving in the direction you want, shift and move in that direction. And if that's not the direction, shift. And if that's not it, shift. You got to keep shifting until you find the direction you want. So many times, man, people are sitting still and you're sitting there, you're doing nothing. You're wasting time. You're watching TV. You're looking at people who already made it. You know what I'm saying? You're criticizing people who you think who made it, who you think shouldn't make it, because you haven't found what you want to do yet. And then when you talk to people and you're like, man, I want to do something, I just don't know what yet. Listen, just start, just do something. And when you realize you don't like that, do something else. And then do something else, but don't stop doing something because it gets difficult. Everything that you do, no matter what it is, whether you love it or not, is going to become difficult. So don't stop because it's difficult. Stop because you don't love it, right? If you're doing it and you don't love it, stop. Go do something else until you get to the point. This is when you know you love it. You're like, how do I know if I love it? Man. When you're doing things and someone says to you, man, I can't believe you're putting all that time into that. That don't make no sense. And you look at them like, what? Like, yo, this is fun.
Yeah.
This ain't a problem. You serious? That's when you know you're onto something you're really committed to. People say, man, don't you get tired of flying and you got to sit on the plane? You got to wear your mask. And I hate the mask. I tell you, I'm anti-mask. I don't want to wear it. If I go in the store and they tell me put your mask on, I'm looking at them like, all right, cool. I'll go to another store.
Yeah.
I know all the stores in my neighborhood where I ain't got to wear no mask. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to wear it.
Right.
So, and because I know the ones where I don't have to wear it, that's where I'm going. We're in the store yesterday. My wife said to me, day before yesterday, she said to me, put your mask on. I said, for what? You have to wear your mask everywhere. Follow the rules. I'm like, the rules? Wasn't no sign on the door. That's why I'm here.
Right.
And if they tell me to put my mask on, you and my daughter would be in here, finish shopping, and I'm going into the car because I'm not going to be in here if I got to wear that mask uncomfortable. And sometimes like we stand by something that is easy. It's easy to stand by the mask when nobody challenges me. Mm-hmm. But when you challenge me, like I'm in my mind now, like I don't need to, like I'm gonna go outside. Like, cool, you can have your space. I'm gonna go outside. I don't need to have a conversation with you about it. And you start having conversations trying to convince people on your point of view and on this. No, they don't need to come in on your point of view. You go out and create and let them people come to you and say, wow, you've been right all this time. I can't even believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's that simple, man. So, yo, just do more than what you're doing. Do more than what you're doing now and go get the things that you want. And, yo, life gets a lot easier. Life gets a lot easier. That's all I got for him today.
All right, that was good. I like the way you ended. It was good.
Hey, you know, listen. I'm telling you, next week, the next episode, I don't know what it's going to be about right now. But what I can tell you is I need you to bring your pen. I need you to bring your paper, and I need you to know how to hit the share button because I'm going to need you to share this one. Because this next one, I got some things, man, I'm going to share. I don't know what the topic is, but I promise you, I'm gonna put it in there. I don't care if we got to have a little intermission, what it is, but I'm gonna put it in there, man, because it's time, man, for all of y'all, right? For everybody to stop living life based on the life that people think you should have, and you stop making sure that you design the life that you want. And the only way to do that is if you become dominant in your space. I'm Pierre Evans. That's my man, Phil. We're gonna talk to you. He does this, I do this, and we'll talk to y'all later.
Thank you. Bye-bye.